24 years ago, on a weekend, I was here sleeping in the backwoods and in a camper. And I had a couple of horses out here, and I rode the younger horse, who was an Irish thoroughbred named Mary's Boy. I nicknamed him Jump for Joy because he jumped all the time, just like this baby too jumped last night when I was lunging him around in that field behind the children. When he heard the children playing, he just jumped over that blue feed thing. You could watch the tape. It's dated July 9th. But this is the eve of 9/11. So the story is that at 6 o'clock, because I had to get to New York, I got on JJ. And I was galloping around the fields, and the older horse named RV was galloping behind us. But it was less stressful if I used the younger horse, less stressful on JJ. But JJ looked exactly like BabyToo 24 years ago. JJ was put to sleep in October, and BabyToo has missed him very much in the last year. It's not yet a year. October's still a couple of weeks away. So now I'm going to take the tractor down there, and we're going to get a close-up look at a horse that really should be called JJ, even though his actual name on his Coggins is Mary's Boy. BabyToo. And the Coggins of JJ is Mary's Boy. But both of those are horses that love to jump, love it, love it. And they look exactly the same. So now tractor noise. many of my subscribers are the age of the children playing with their father. So my point is, they weren't alive. And perhaps many of you listening to this were only in middle school or perhaps elementary school. So I want to give you some perspective. I had I guess it's called a roof garden. Rich people call it a penthouse. And my computers, I was working on children's books on 3 different computers, which had double drives. And the door was open when I left for the weekend. I didn't shut the door up there on the top of the building, 61 East 66th Street, right between Park Avenue and Madison Avenue. And the attack occurred while I was riding a horse. So I had no idea that New York City had been hit by a couple of planes. No idea. And it was about 7 o'clock that I started riding the horse. And I decided I would go in late. And it was because September 11th, 21 was the most beautiful, beautiful day here in Hope, New Jersey. There wasn't a single cloud in the sky at 7 a.m. when the sun rose. I had never seen the leaves so still. There was no wind. And then at 9 o'clock, as I was heading back to the, what is it called, recreational vehicle that I was sleeping in, a police car was there. Came on the acreage. I think I had, I don't know, maybe 40 acres at the time, and was looking for me to notify me not to go on Route 80 to go to my home. And I thought it was very, very, very kind of him. And I said, "Why, officer?" He said, "Well, I really can't explain, but don't go on the highway." So what I did instead is I went to a woman's house that I sold her in 1984. I had never been in the house since 1984. But there I was almost 15, 16 years later, knocking on her door. And she was crying. And I said, "Elaine, are you all right?" And she said, "No. I'm waiting to hear from my husband. He's at the Allentown Airport in Pennsylvania, waiting to go on a business trip." And I said, "So what's the problem?" And she said, "Look at the TV." And I looked at the TV, and as I was talking to her, a second plane hit the World Trade Center. So I stayed with her until she got a phone call from her husband, who was perfectly fine. I'm going to call Elaine tonight. She's in Fredericksburg, Virginia. The people who bought the home from her are called Brett and Oliver and Sam Fountain. Elaine's husband's name was Dan Ernie. "24 years. Every day I'm grateful. I want all of you who are watching this video to be grateful. 3 people I know personally. I could name them. Were in the building and fortunately are still alive. Did Baby come and follow me? Yes, I think so. I stayed with JJ for September 11th, 2001, the 12th, the 13th, the 14th, the 15th, the 16th, the 17th, the 18th, the 19th, and then I was given all's clear, but when I got to my apartment, it was all white powder inside the closets, inside where the dishes were in the cabinets. It is totally bewildering to me how that white dust could go into closets and into rooms that were shut. And all my clothes were, if the clothes was, for example, a suit that was black, when I opened the closet, the suit was completely white. The only ones that were not hurt from the white powder were things I had just picked up from cleaners, suits that I had picked up from cleaners who, in those days, put I think it's plastic on top of the coat hanger so the suit doesn't get dust on it. But this dust turned out to be deadly